You are in tune to the man, Mr. Rasheen, so get ready for action.
Yes, you're in tune to the ultimate sound going down right now. It's the Grand Wizard Rasheen, live, baby. And we on the Hip Hop Starship. And special guest right here is who? Mr. Cosmo D?
Cosmo D, yeah, baby, that's me. What up, yo?
Oh, brother.
How you doing, Rasheen?
Oh,
I didn't
man.
realize that was my cue.
Hey,
late on the kickoff, baby.
Hey, ain't no thing, but you here. You know what I mean? On the
Yes,
Starship. So,
Yes,
yo,
sir.
hey, tell the people who you are and what you did.
Hi, I'm Cosmo D from Jam On Productions, Nucleus.
Right.
Been doing this hip-hop thing since 1977 out of the streets of Brooklyn. Done quite a few things, but the one that everybody mostly knows is Jam On It.
Jam on it. Okay, that's what the jam. So look, we're gonna do like a little hip-hop documentary on your life. Alright?
Alright.
We're gonna take a page out of your life telling how you got here, how you got started, you know, what year you met your group and what motivated you. Okay, so give us a visual picture of your life and how you got started with Nucleus and Jam On It and all that stuff like that, okay? And this is the Cosmo D story right here on Starship, the hip-hop Starship. Let's go.
Alright, well, it all started for me in the spring of 1977. I was a sophomore in high school. 15 years old.
Right.
And I went to John Dewey High School, which is in the Bensonhurst Park of Brooklyn, right next to Coney Island. And you know, it was a school for writers. You know, and we had this thing called Dewey Day every year that people from all over the city came to because we always had live DJs.
Right.
But how it all started for me was one day in the spring of 1975, you know. We chilling at a park. There's projects across the street from the school. And, you know, there's a park, you know, with benches and shit. And we all chilling there with the super seniors, you know, some of those young boys. And we chilling with the super seniors. And the super seniors got Brass Monkey, you know, and we smoking some weed and we drinking it up. And we got a box pumping, you know. And my boy Kev, he puts in this tape. And it's a tape by this DJ from Coney Island called Count JC. And there's this record called Bra by a group called Samande. And they had a hit with this record in like 1973. You know? But there's a break in the record. And what he was doing, he wasn't playing the singing parts. He was just playing the break and cutting the break back and forth. And I ain't never heard nothing like that. You know, this is 1977.
77, okay.
My first time hearing that. He's cutting back and forth. And that like blew my mind, you know, because, you know, the jam is dope, but the funkiest part is that breakdown. And I never knew that you could do this. And right then and there, I decided that's what I wanted to do. I was going to become a DJ. That was at 15. And that's how it all started. By the next year, from that time on to the next year, friends of mine got their own DJ sets, and I started learning how to DJ on their shit. And then in 76, we got our own set. We meaning me, my cousin Monique, who eventually became known as Nikki D, and Pete, who became known as Master Quadro. And the three of us got some equipment, and we started spinning on that. and that was in '76.
Okay.
Come summer of '77, we were starting to get more equipment. We gotten better at DJing, but Monique, she had to leave to go to college.
Right.
So to take her place, I got my best friend, David St. Louis, and his DJ. He took the DJ name Dr. Freeze, and me, Master Quadro, Pete, Master Quadro, and Dave, Dr. Freeze. And I took I had taken my name by then. I used to draw comic books, and I had a comic book superhero called Captain Cosmo.
Ah, okay.
So my favorite disco record, because we played a lot of disco, was called Mondo Disco.
Oh, okay.
You know, and it's going through the record. It's by El Coco, that made Let's Get It Together. And the record just went Mondo Disco.
Okay.
So I said that would be dope if I took that and I took the name Cosmo for my comic book character.
Right.
And I added disco on the back, and I became Cosmo Disco.
Okay.
So 1977, Nick goes off to college. Dr. Freeze joins up, and the three of us together decide to call ourselves Jam On Productions.
Wow.
And that's when we started. And that started our crew right there. And by then, pure hip hop was strong on the streets of Brooklyn. It had come down from the Bronx.
Right.
And cats were taking names like Frankie D, Johnny B, and stuff like that. So I took Cosmo Disco, because now we were starting to play breaks and shit.
Right.
You know, playing more of a hip hop feel. So instead of Cosmo Disco, I shortened it to Cosmo D. And that's how I got my name.
Right.
You know, so that summer of '77, we started rocking parks. All that, we got some park rocking equipment, and we were rocking parks all over Brooklyn. You know, and block parties. You know, doing all that.
Right.
And that went on for the next couple of years.
Get ready for action.
1, 2, 3,
In 1979, we were the top crew. Well, I won't say we were the top crew, but we were one of the top crews in our part of Bed. Yeah, in our part of Bed-Stuy, definitely. Yep. And you know, in Brooklyn, you know, by 1979, there was parks in the Jam every night in the summertime. You know, and there'd be 1,000 people in the park, man.
Wow.
Just boogieing. Yeah, man, it was amazing. You know, and at that time, I met this girl named Yvette, and she emceed under the name Lady E. And she joined up the crew, and we started going out. And also, I didn't skip the part. I'll get back to it. This is a long story. I hope I wasn't boring people too much.
No, man. It's interesting.
But at the same time, I was in a funk band, because I was always trying to, same as I was trying to DJ, I was trying to make my own music.
Okay.
You know, because I always, you know, I was always into the funk. You know, P-funk. You know, funk with a rock feel to it, hard hitting. You know, and I was in a band called Thunderfunk. And I had originally tried to play guitar, but I wasn't that good at guitar. So I started singing. So I was, and you know, I had a rock style of singing, and I was the lead singer for Thunderfunk. And the bass player lived on our block in Bed-Stuy. That was Bainbridge Street.
Right.
And he played bass. And he was a young boy. He was younger than me. You know, but he was a damn good bass player. You know, and his name was Bob. It's Bob Crafton. And he also DJed. You know, he had his own crew. And he DJed by the name Chili B. So the band Thunderfunk was in around 77, 78, I'd say.
Okay.
So in 79, same time I started going out with Yvette, with Lady E, Neek, who would come back from college, and she was back DJing with us again, she started going out with Chili B. You know, because he lived down the block. So they were going together, and you know, that was the foundations of what would become Nucleus right there. We didn't realize it at the time, but that was the beginning.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
So, we're rocking the parks. We're killing it, man. We're killing it in Brooklyn. And one day, I'm walking down the street, Manhattan, and I see this little synthesizer in this window. And I go in there, and I play around with it. And I say, yo, I could do my own music with this. And they had a drum machine. And I picked up the drum machine, and I picked up that synthesizer, went home, made a track the same night with Yvette, with Lady E. And from that point on, more than being a DJ, it was about making music.
Yeah, production, right.
Yes, it was. I came on the production tip. You know, and that was towards the end of '79. So the story just goes on and on.
Keep it going, brother.
I'm gonna keep it going. All right.
That's right.
1980. You know, Chili B, and remember now, Monique is my cousin. She's my first cousin.
Yeah.
She and Chili B, they all hooked up. Neek and because Neek and Pete, their mother had died when they were younger, so they lived with my grandparents. All of this was going on in my grandparents' house. That's where we had our equipment. That's where we threw our parties and all that.
Right.
But my grandmother didn't see eye to eye with her and Chili B going together.
Right.
So Neek and Chili B moved over. Well, Chili B didn't right away, but Neek moved over to my mother's house. And eventually, what would happen was Neek got pregnant, and I'm trying to remember whether we got married first or Chili B moved in first. But to keep the story moving, in 1981, Lady E and I got married, and we moved into my mother's house too.
Right.
So on one floor, you had me and Lady E living in the front of the house, and then the same floor, Chili B and Nikki D living in the back of the house.
Y'all still together?
Yeah, they're together. Yvette and I got married. A little while later that year, Neek and Chili B got married. At the same time, with Thunderfunk no longer existed, but I had asked, I needed to get a Porter studio so I could start making multi-track tapes.
Right.
So I asked Neek, because Neek had some money, and I asked if she would let me the money to do this. She said, yeah, but if I do that, will you start working, recording with Chili B? Because remember, Chili B and I were at the same age.
Okay.
But Chili B was dope, and I knew he was dope. So I said, yeah, sure, that's no problem. So we started, Chili B and I started making music together. And both Lady E and Neek started singing on the tracks that we were working on. And we all lived in the same house, on the same floor. As a matter of fact, Yvette and I were in the front, Neek and Chili B were in the back. In the middle room, we made our studio.
Okay.
So we started putting music together then. But the music we were doing, because at this time in my life, I've always been, well, not always, because it was a time that I was an atheist. But I was a Christian at this time, and all about, making music with messages.
Right.
Music that'll inspire the world, that'll get people to see what's wrong with the world and how to fix it, or to bring people to God. That's the kind of music I was writing at the time. That's the mission we were on. and Chili B was right there with me on the same mission, on the same tip. So this was the music we were putting together. So we called our group. I wanted to call the group Messenger. Chili wanted to call the music Positive because I wanted the music to be positive. So let's just call the group Positive. So we came up and decided to combine it, and we started calling ourselves Positive Message. Excuse me. So Positive Messenger, and so that's what we were doing. However, mind you, I'm still DJing, still doing parties all the time, and one of the DJs in Jam On, one of the DJs in our crew, Salvador Smooth, he said, why don't you do a rap record? Now, mind you, while we were rocking the park, you know, back in the day,
right.
you know, you got on the mic and you rapped. We had MCs in our crew, plus some of the DJs, including myself, would do some rhymes too.
Right.
But in Brooklyn, it was very competitive. You know, the stuff that they do, that they were doing in the Bronx with the routines and the practices and all that, that wasn't what we did in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, everybody went for Dolo. You know, even if you remember of the crew, you know, like at one time we had 10 MCs in our crew.
Wow.
But they didn't do routines together. They battled each other.
Oh.
You know, that's what it was all about.
Right.
And, you know, our rhyme style, the rhyme style in Brooklyn was different than the rhyme style in the Bronx and Uptown.
Ah.
So when the first rap records came out, especially Rapper's Delight, we weren't feeling that. And a lot of the rap records that came out, there were a couple that we felt, you know, and Jimmy Spicer for one, you know, because he had the Brooklyn style, you know, with the voice. You know, he had that style. You know, that was a Brooklyn thing.
Right.
You know, the Bronx cats thought we were corny, but we didn't care.
I got you.
You know, so he said to me, Salvador Smooth said to me, why don't you make a rap record? I thought rap records were corny, you know, because they didn't feel like jams to me. You know, because when you were doing a jam, when all you knew was jamming, you know, the jams were spontaneous, rhymes were either tight or off the dome, you know, and if you got out there and you were whack, you likely get, you know, bricked or shots get fired. I mean, this is serious.
Yeah, I know.
That's what we grew up with.
Right.
You know, that's what we came up with in the streets.
Made you
So,
good.
yeah, that's right. You don't get out there and be whack. You be whack, somebody like liable to get shot.
Right.
Or bottles start flying. Some shit. So, you know, I decided I'm going to make a jam about whack rappers. Making fun of the rappers that were out there and calling them whack and making a jam all about the funk.
Right.
Now, remember, I'm not a rapper. Yeah, I'm a DJ.
Okay.
And by this point now, I'm a producer. I'm making music. I rapped in the 70s, you know, because I had my own book of rhymes, and I would say my rhymes. Same rhymes every party. The rhymes I said so often that half the crowd knew them, would say them along with me.
Right.
But, you know, I had my rhymes, but that was it. You know, but he wanted to rap record. I said, okay. So I made fun of him, and I called it Jam On's Revenge.
Wow.
And it was a John Wayne character. You know, Cosmo D was a John Wayne character with my John Wayne imitation. You better get out of town, Pilgrims. This is before Rapping Duke, by the way.
Oh, wow.
You know, yeah, and with Munchkins, you know, and they would say things like, y'all, you guys are bad, but you can't do this. Wiki.
Right.
And where that's from, it was this crew that we used to battle against all the time. We used to blow them out every time. Blew them out every single time. But they had this one dude in their crew named Keith. He was dope. He scratched.
Right.
And mind you, remember, we started as disco DJs. So most of us, myself included, didn't scratch. We blended.
Right.
You know, I could blend the break with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't care how short the break is. I was that good and that fast to blend the break. You know, but I didn't scratch the break.
Right.
You know, so we blew them out, and he came over and he said, yeah, you guys are bad, but you can't do this. Wiki, 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 wiki. Do the scratch motion.
Right.
And I said, man, we ain't got a wiki, wiki to blow your asses out. And I always thought that was funny.
Right.
So when I made that was in '79. So when I made this record in 1980, in 1980, because I didn't have the other synthesizer yet.
Right.
So in 1980, when I made this rap record, this anti-rap record, I threw that in there.
Wow.
And, you know, so it was funky.
Mm-hmm.
So when we would play it at, you know, whenever we were doing parties, I would always slip it in there. Crowd always loved it. Always filled the dance floor. You know, so this went on. Now, in the meantime, we're doing the positive messenger stuff, and we're getting better and better and better. And I came up with this one jam that I call Computer Age. And it was a fast, funky, electronic thing, you know, perfect for dance floors and for break dances and stuff like that. It was perfect for that.
Yeah.
And at the time I'm finishing it up, all of a sudden, Planet Rock hits.
Wow.
And I said, oh shit, that shit is a hit. Well, if that shit is a hit, my shit definitely be a hit.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to take it down to Tommy Boy and
Right.
play it for them. But instead, I stopped by this producer that I had met when I was fooling around with the first rap records I was trying, and he had listened to it. So I figured, let me give him a shot.
Mm-hmm.
He heard Computer Age. He loved it. He loved everything that was on the tape.
Sure.
But on the end of the tape, mind you, this is all positive messenger stuff. All stuff with messages. All stuff for either spiritual or teaching a lesson. You know, everything was about something.
Right.
But the last thing, there was a gap at the end of the second side of the tape. And I said, well, I got 5 minutes here. Let me put that Jam On's Revenge on there.
Mm.
So he listens to the whole tape. He gets to the last song, heard Jam On's Revenge, and lost his mind. He started saying, yo, that's it. That's the hit. Wiki, wiki, wiki. I was telling him, yo, I just put that on there as a joke, man. You know, that's not really the kind of stuff that we're trying to do. You know, I didn't do it seriously.
Right, right.
And he said, no, that's it. And he told me, I'll make you $500,000 in a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, mind you, I'm what, 22?
Mm.
You know, 22 to tell a 22-year-old young man that, you know, who's living in his mother's house. Yeah, so I said, okay.
Oh, yeah.
But so the four of us got together. We said, let's do it. But if we're going to do it, we can't be positive messenger because this song doesn't have a message. So I came up with the fact that Bob's family, and Monique and my family, and Yvette's family
Right.
all merged together. All three families merged together in our group.
Right.
So we were the nucleus of three different families.
Wow.
And so we came up with the name Nucleus.
Mm.
And that's how the group was born.
Wow.
So the record gets out there, you know, and it blows up. It blew up in New York, you know, it hit the charts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything is starting to happen, you know, and I wanted to do Computer Age next, you know, because Computer Age was the record that I thought was going to happen. It was the one that made me go out and shop the whole thing.
Mm.
The record company, because Joe Webb, the guy the producer, went and signed us to Sunnyview Records. The record company is so enamored, is so taken in with Jam On's Revenge.
Right.
They said, we want a rap record next. So I'm telling them, look, we're not rappers, you know, we're not MCs. You know, because it wasn't about rappers then. It was about being an MC or not.
Right.
You know, there wasn't no such thing as a rapper then.
Right.
It was either you were an MC or you weren't. And we were not MCs. Both Chili B and I were DJ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but they said, no, we want a rap record. So I said, okay, I'll do this real quick. I went and I knocked out a beat in about 15 minutes. The quickest beat I ever did in my life, still to this day. Knocked out the track. And then I found my old rhyme book through a bunch of my old rhymes that I used to say back in the parks in the 70s.
Right.
Threw them on there. And I asked Chili B to come up with something, but Chili B couldn't come up with anything. So I wrote some new rhymes for him. So most of my rhymes are old from the 70s, you know, with a couple of adjustments. But Chili B's rhymes I wrote for him for that record. And we decided to make it a sequel to Jam On's Revenge. And that was Jam On It. And that blew up. Let me tell you, it's still blowing up.
Yes, yes.
All right, that was a long story, not too short.
Yeah, so after that, you know, what happened? You came out with, did you ever come back out with the Computer?
Yeah, Computer Age was the third single. It charted. Computer Age was the third single. It was our third biggest selling record. You know, I think it hit 20-something on the charts,
right,
on the R&B charts. Excuse me, not sure of that, but I believe that's what it did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it charted, it did well, you know. And then we did our first album, which was Jam On Revenge. The name of the record was Jam On's Revenge, but somebody made a typo, and it's been stuck as Jam On Revenge ever since. See, we were young and didn't know anything, so, you know, we just got screwed, you know. They took over, they did everything that they wanted to do, you know, and the stuff that we wanted to do didn't happen, you know, and the money never showed up, you know, but we had a good run, you know, as far as music is concerned, you know, and it's the music that lives now, you know, that's still keeping us going.
Yeah. So, I mean, after that album, did you try to search for another record company or do anything else?
I should have, but I didn't. We did 2 albums with them, and on the second album, when the second album came out,
right,
it was a day release. First of all, we were signed to Morris Levy. I don't know if you know who Morris Levy is, but he was a gangster.
Okay.
Did you used to watch The Sopranos?
Yes.
All right, you remember Tony Soprano's friend that was in the music business, Hesh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's based on Morris Levy.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That character is based on Morris Levy. So that gives you an idea who we were signed to.
I got you.
You know, but the thing is, even though that they were stealing, they paid our producer, Joe Webb, and he kept all the money. But he never paid us. So, you know, you get screwed by the other man, but then you get screwed by the black man right on top of you, you know? But so when the second album comes out, by this time, I had started to learn the business a bit, and I was hanging out at the record company. You know, the first album, I didn't know anything about hanging out with the record company and getting to know the people down there. But by the second album, I had become friends with Adam Levy, who's Morris Levy's son. And Adam Levy's the guy that ended up starting Warlock Records.
Warlock,
and
okay.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in the office with Adam, and I said, "Yo, Adam, just look to answer a question. When are we going to be out of the red?" Because whenever we asked Joe Webb about money, he said, "No, you guys are still in the red. You guys are in the red." Here we go. We're on our second album. We had hit records. We were on a national tour, And we still in the red? I said, well, we going to get out of the red. And Adam said, out of the red? What you talking about? Man, we just cut a check for 250 grand to Joe Webb just a couple of weeks ago. And that's when we realized, okay, we're definitely getting screwed. But if I knew then what I know now, what I know now is I had power. You know, because we were the group. We were the name. Joe Webb, though he was a producer by name, he didn't do any of the music. You know, he had no talent. You know, he didn't hear the music until we were in the studio and I'm pushing buttons and playing keys.
Right.
You know, he didn't know any of that shit. You know, so we could have walked and wrote our own deal somewhere else, but I didn't know that at the time. So the way I decided to handle it was, okay, fuck you. I'm going to stop working with you. And we just going to stop working. And I went and I got a lawyer. My lawyer said, well, you know, you can't do nucleus, but you can produce. So I went into production, and Chili B and I started producing, and we went to doing that. You know, but if I had to do it over again, I would have gone to another record company and said, look, we're nucleus, so forth and so on. We're still hot, you know, and we would have gotten another deal. But I didn't know.
So when you was doing production, who did you do production for?
Well, let me see. Most of the groups, you know, because we had our own labels. So we had Cut King Captain C, but we just labeled him Cut King. We had this cat King Lear Shakespeare. We had you know the group PM Dawn?
Yes.
Yeah, we put out their first. We produced and put out their first record. We did quite a few early house things, and then later on, I scored again as an underground what they call deep house, and with a group named Shalor, and then with my own group, my own project called Dream to Science. Matter of fact, we've been touring recently in the past few years around the world, both as Nucleus and as Dream to Science. Yeah, I love house music, but it all comes down to hip hop. Even my house is hip hop.
Wow. So, hey, did y'all ever do any movies or TV appearances and stuff like that?
We did TV, a couple of other obscure TV shows, but we were on Soul Train.
Oh man.
Yeah, man, we were on Soul Train.
Okay.
And we did, we were supposed to be in Crush Groove, but Joe Webb said we were going to get our own movie. Yeah, that motherfucker.
Y'all was waiting on it.
Yeah, never materialized. In the meantime, Fat Boys blew up in Crush Groove. We could have,
I got you.
Yeah, he was a real joy, man. He got us good, but God is good, you know, and we're blessed.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I mean, all that got y'all known, you know, through the people. It's mostly advertisement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For y'all. You don't get no money, but you got advertisement.
This is true, and because of it, we're able to work now. So,
right.
You know, it's a blessing.
Okay, look, we're going to take a break, right? And we're going to go into like one of your songs, you know, matter of fact, jam on Revenge. And, yeah. And so y'all stay tuned, because here it comes right now. man, that was the liveliest jam on it, Revenge. And like I said, we got Cosmo D, and he's telling the story of Cosmo D. Yo, so what's happening now, brother? And what are you doing in the future that you want people to know about?
All right. Well, you know, we're still touring. We getting all over the world. We do Europe just about every year. Sometimes a couple of times a year. And we do a lot of West Coast. I want to get more jams on the East Coast. For some reason, we ain't getting no love on the East Coast. East Coast, look us up. We out here.
That's right. Look 'em up.
We out here. We're reasonable. We won't break your bank. Look the brothers up. You know, and working on new music. You know, like I've got my feet in two different camps. I got my feet in both hip-hop and in house.
Right.
You know, hip-hop, electro, and in house music.
Right.
So I'm doing both. Right now, putting the finishing touches on the new Nucleus album. Matter of fact, the first single from the album was released at the end of the summer, and it's called Summer of '79. And it's all about, you know, jam on, rocking the parks in the summer of '79. You know, that story I just told.
Yeah.
You know, so,
That's
yeah,
great.
definitely on that old school with the new school flair flow.
Yeah.
You know, and got the electro feel to it. You know, and doing a few things on the other side. Always dropping some remix compilations. Just did a jam with an Egyptian lover.
Oh man, that's good.
Yeah, called The World Keeps Turning. You know, did a jam and a video. Dope ass video too, set in the spaceship. You know, so we got a little something going on.
Set in the spaceship?
Yeah, man.
Oh man, that's wonderful. Cause
Yeah,
we on this starship. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
You're the right
Now we
guy.
gonna keep the space, baby.
That's right. We
Gonna
in
keep the
space.
space.
That's right.
Keep
Man,
our head future.
right. It's all about the future. Right here, the stars. Yo. So, you still have the same people in the group right now that you started with?
Right now, well, Chili B passed in 2010. So it's still me, Lady E, and Nikki D.
Okay.
And on the road, we had Al P, who was the first MC for Jam On Productions way back in 1977. So it's still a Jam On thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Still pure to the roots of it.
That's good. Keep it real, boy.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow, that was a very interesting story. Look, we're about to fly on out here, but before we go,
All right.
is there any shout outs or to people that you want to give to?
Shout out to the whole Jam On crew. Shout out to my boy, Egyptian Lover. Shout out to everybody in freestyle, because we part of that freestyle community and electro, part of the electro community and the house community. Shout out to all of y'all. These all the pants I be wearing, man. You know, shout out to Grand Wizard Rasheen, baby.
Oh,
and thank you so much. I appreciate you for bringing us on here.
Oh man, definitely. Me and my boy, Grand Wizard Stevie D. He's engineering right now.
All right, big up Stevie D.
Yeah. So, wow. Now, since you gave all your shots out, I mean, before we go, is there any last thing you want them to know? How they can get in touch with you?
Yeah. You can reach me on Facebook as Ben Cosmo D CNAC. Now that's take a C and O and a Z. Then you add M-O and a freaky D. Cosmo with a Z. And you can catch me on that by that name also on Instagram. You know, I'm on Twitter too, but I'm barely ever on there. But Instagram and Facebook, And our website is www.jamonproductions.com. And if you look in the vault on that website, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff that you can download. Demos, original demos and stuff from the 70s and 80s, man. So it's up there and it's free. Anybody can get it.
That's great, man. Well, y'all know how to get in touch with them. He gave you that Facebook, Twitter, and all that. So hire them, get them, booked. All right. And like I said, man, it's been so great to have you on here. You're a legend.
I appreciate you, Rasheen. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. All right. So we're about to, get back aboard and fly on out of here because it's time to go to another time and space on the Hip Hop Starship. All right, let's go. Say peace.
Easy.
Yeah. We out, baby.
All right.
You are in tune to the man, Mr. Rasheen, so get ready for action.